Hello and welcome to Future Proof. Today I'm here with Roger. Great to have you, Roger.
Thanks, Carsten. It's a pleasure to be here.
Roger, what are we going to talk about today? I'm curious.
Today we're going to talk about cloud, its impediments. We touch a little bit the benefits, why we do it, and what it means for our customers, actually.
And I hope also why it is good business.
Of course.
Great. Looking forward to the discussion. Hello and welcome to my new episode of Future Proof. And today I'm sitting here in my podcast living room with Roger. Welcome, Roger. Great to have you.
Hi, Carsten. Thanks. It's a pleasure to be here.
Roger, quick introduction to you. You are the CIO of G+D Netcetera. In that capacity, you have basically in the last 3 years transformed our IT from historically on-prem to a cloud-based IT infrastructure, both for our internal customers as for external customers. Quite a journey, huh?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, a lot of people might say it's a long journey, but we want to do things properly, and that's how we do it at the moment right now.
My first question is really going into the direction, why is cloud the new great thing on the block? Are we moving there in general? And if I remember from my past at IBM, I still remember visiting data centers with layers of infrastructure, mainframe, and somewhere the big diesel engine to keep the things going if energy goes down. So is this still the reality, or is cloud the new reality?
So according to Bitkom in 2024, 81% from Germany, the companies are already leveraging cloud. But that doesn't mean that they fully get rid of their on-premise data center. They simply use services which are available from the cloud where they have to, right? Or they want to. There is only 5% of the companies who claim that cloud is not even a strategy for them at all. Only 14% claim that they have a cloud-only strategy in mind or in place already, what we actually do here at Netcetera as well, right? So moving all the workloads away from our data centers. So we're happy already that the mainframes are gone since many, many years. But now it's also time to focus on what's really important for our customers.
Yeah, and I mentioned mainframe also because I was working for IBM. And if you look now on IBM's strategy today, it's a cloud-based strategy as well, right? As many others, AWS, Microsoft, and so forth, right? So there is a driver behind this also. Maybe we talk about this. What makes companies switch from on-prem to cloud-based services?
It's about having the proper focus. Yeah, having cloud services available, ready to use, allows us to really focus on our customer demands. Building the best applications for them according their requirements and what they need. Without thinking of how we structure the infrastructure, and we can scale actually much better than we could if we host it on premise. And that was the initial driver also with our growth strategy, internationalization strategy, not to open new data centers all over the world.
Yeah, that I can understand because you have a much easier way to distribute your workload in different countries, right? Are there financial drivers as well?
There are financial drivers. Nevertheless, you always have to think about your journey towards the cloud. And also there, as said, we want to do things properly. So we're not going forward with the lift and shift approach. We're going also with a transformation of our architecture, building our services on a cloud-native environment in the future.
And another aspect I could imagine is the topic of talent. How do you see that? I mean, because also your department, I guess, had to change from where we were 3 years ago.
Correct. And it's not limited to only our department. It's actually covering the whole company, all the developers, the operational teams, and so on. Because, as I said, many companies want to change. And according to Bitkom, in 5 years of now, cloud is the main thing in IT. Yeah. So there is a change on the skills we need in the future. And we also want to bring our people forward to be, again, ready on the labor market, even later on, right? And bring them forward. And we are also ready to hire new people on the market.
Mm-hmm. And let's say like this scenario. You have a pension fund in Switzerland. We work in Switzerland. And that is still on-prem. and now has the idea to go to cloud. What would you recommend? How to approach this topic at all?
First of all, it's very important that in your company you have the commitment from top management, from the business to go the cloud journey, right? And then it's so important that you as the operations team support the business team in the discussions together with the customer to understand their fear, their risks, their concerns, and to properly address that. Yeah, because we learned that having this discussion often opens the door to actually go the cloud journey easier than we actually thought.
Right. Okay. And could we advise also customers? Could we say, hey, there's a little team that helps you in this transformation?
Currently, it's not our strategy, but I think we learned a lot on the way. We have perfect skills now available, so I think we could also do that.
Okay, Roger, you mentioned the buy-in from the management. So why is that important?
It's important because the cloud journey, the transformation doesn't only affect operational teams and the infrastructure. We claim that we want to go cloud native. Yeah, that means we have to redevelop our customer services as of now, from monoliths to microservices, to really have an efficient environment in the public cloud in the future. And that needs a lot of resources, a lot of preparing, also discussions with the customer while moving to cloud. And you need the buy-in from the business as well, else you try to steer it from the IT department and that's not going to work.
Yeah, I think I can second this because we see it also internally, right? It's not only an IT topic, but also our product developer, R&D developers. They have different aspects to consider when they do applications for the cloud compared to the on-prem world, right?
Correct. And in addition, how we do budgeting is also differently because we assign the costs directly where they appear, yeah, rather than having a central IT budget available for all the divisions.
Right. So you have user-based costing basically, and it's more flexible.
Yes.
Yeah. So agility seems to have a big impact here too, no? The way of working is different, no?
Yes, it has. Yeah. So not only the skill set of the people will change because in the future we will need more like generalists, still having specialists available, of course, right? And AWS or also Microsoft Azure, they provide you information that you should change towards DevOps and so on. But this change is not that easy. Yeah. In theory, it works quite well. But in reality, it's a question if the developer actually wants to be responsible for the infrastructure, right? Even if it's automated and based on code, but they are responsible also for operations. And that change is not always easy. So also we had to find a way in between. So for bigger projects, it might make sense. But for smaller projects, there is still an operational team available to cover these aspects for them.
Okay, so we learned our lessons, I understand. And what it also implies that what you said earlier, lift and shift is not the right way to do it, right? There's more involved.
There's no right or wrong, right? And I'm happy we did it from our perspective right from the beginning, not going lift and shift. For others, it might make sense. So if you want to have more speed going to cloud, it might make sense. But if you look at the total cost of ownership, having a lift and shift approach, it's probably more expensive than what we are trying to do now with the cloud native approach.
And if I summarize now, Roger, so what you describe is really a transformation. It's a transformation to go from the on-prem into the cloud services world with different skills, different organizational setups, different ways of working. But you also get a lot of benefits, internationalization, maybe some cost benefits, internal agilities, and so forth. So it sounds like a great new world.
Yeah.
There's a but, no? There's a but. And that but is the data security aspect, which is now in the press everywhere, no? Especially since there's global insecurity. And the question arises, if I store my data in the cloud, where does it really lie? And who has access to it? Now that brings me to the topic, how do we solve for that problem?
That's, of course, also the main topic we have to discuss with our customers, right? Now, happily, AWS, also Azure, Microsoft, they build up their data centers in Switzerland. They are more time already in the EU, right? And there is this Cloud Act, I think they started reporting in 2020, so that US government could access data or ask to have the data provided from Microsoft or Azure in case of a criminal investigation. And that's a little bit a conflict with the GDPR setup we have in the EU or in Switzerland. But I mean, if you look at the history, AWS never disclosed a customer or government data to the US government in any case. So the risk is quite low, and you could think yourself, right? Should we support criminal investigations or not?
Yeah, I see the point. On the other hand, what I hear also from our customers, that is a point of sensitivity, right? Where does my data lie? Is in principle access possible from someone who should not have access, no? But there must be technical solutions for this. Maybe, Roger, you could explain a little bit on that.
First of all, you can actually decide in which data center your data is located. Yeah, so we are using a lot the Swiss data centers from Azure or AWS. And you also have the possibility to encrypt your data. Yeah, store the key with yourself. So not even AWS or Microsoft has actually access to the data itself. There are possibilities. It comes with certain risks, because if you lose your key, you're not able to access neither.
So key management is also a practice you need to establish, no?
It is.
Yeah, okay. And let's do a little bit risk comparison. What is more risky? To have my data taken by the CIA on a cloud-based service for a Swiss pension fund, or that a hacker attacks my on-prem data center?
Honestly, that's my stomach feeling, right? I would say the hacker is more risky, because there you're not going to know what's going to happen with your data. And we still hope that US government, CIA or anything else, they do it for the good, right? On top, AWS or Azure, these public cloud providers, they invest a lot into their security. And that's what I mentioned before, that we can focus on what's important to us. So we can focus on securing our services we build up on cloud. We don't longer have to invest into securing the underlying infrastructure, the connectivity, and all these kind of things, because that's done by the public cloud providers. Yeah.
And if we fast forward to, let's say, 2027, what do you think? Where does data and the process lies? Everything in the cloud, or a little bit still in on-prem? What do you see from the G+D Netcetera perspective?
From G+D Netcetera perspective, I would say we have 98% in the cloud. There will always be something remaining. For example, key management, right? If you host it by yourself, you have to have it. For the rest on the market, I think the cloud adoption will happen sooner or later. Some will wait a little bit, but in the end, I think we're all going to cloud.
Okay, good. And that's the future. Then I still come back to the fact that not many companies are already on that path, or they're just starting, no? So pragmatically, what is the best approach? You mentioned already it's a cultural topic also, it's a leadership topic. Where to get started from your perspective with all the learnings that we have?
So I could only give the advice to do it in an agile way from the start, right? Don't invest too much time of doing all the calculations to details, what it means, how much effort you're going to have, because on the way you will learn a lot of things. And cloud is adopting so fast, you don't even know what's going to be available in a year of now. And having this now said, just coming back to the other topic before, AWS is planning to invest almost 8 billion euros in building a sovereign cloud in Germany, which is decoupled from the US, fully operated in the EU to cope with these ever demanding requirements of data privacy. So if you start today, you might end up there tomorrow, right?
Okay, and from the skill space, we mentioned DevOps, I think. So there's also some skill to be developed in-house. No, that's also part of the story. Other elements?
Yeah, I think it's really adopting the skills. What we learned isn't that difficult, because it's still IT. If you're a little bit IT affine, you know how things should work. You maybe have to read a bit more documentation than before. But transforming the people to be definitely generalists, because you don't focus only on Linux infrastructure, but from network to database as well. That's the tricky part, because you learn a lot of new things. But it's a huge job enrichment for the future.
And organizationally, traditionally companies, also IT departments, are structured hierarchically. Is there a change also?
Yeah, and we're in the middle of that, right? We're trying to change our way how we operate into a more agile way. Yeah, I'm not saying we fully implement a SAFe or Scrum, but we align to that. As an example, we break the tech silos, Linux, database, Windows Server teams into cross-functional teams, which can end-to-end support our business divisions as best.
And that's also talks to a customer-centric approach, I think, right? Your quads, I think how they are called, the organizational setup, is really trying to serve customer needs, be it internal or external.
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, before we always had the issue that we have these tech silos, and we had multiple business divisions having requirements to us, and the alignment between the teams, because you anyway always need them all, was very, very difficult. And you had an issue with prioritization across teams. And now having specified cross-functional teams available per division, or maybe for multiple divisions, still depending on the size, we can have a better focus and a better alignment on the priorities as well. And we shift back a little bit also the decision about priorities to the business division.
Very cool. Well, thank you. That's quite enlightening, and lots of aspects you covered here on the cloud topic. You really burn for this topic, Roger, I feel, no? What really makes you tick here? Why are you so interested in this topic? Tell me.
I think what makes me tick is that nothing is impossible, and I like continuous improvement, right? And we kicked it off, and we do walk the talk, so we're also gonna do it. And we do it for the best of Netcetera, the best for our customers. And if I wouldn't believe that, I would be the wrong person to drive this.
Mm-hmm. And your leadership also needs a lot of focus. What makes you focus? What drives your focus here?
It's our people, because they're the biggest asset we have, right? So that's why also we included them as much as we could into driving this transformation. Also, the transformation of our organization. We involved them, and we developed together the future of our department. And that was a huge success story for us internally as well.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much, Roger. That was really a blast. It was great having you here. Thank you.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to me, Carsten.
And to all our listeners, I hope you liked the show. If you liked it, please like, comment, subscribe, and really tune in when it's again time for Future Proof. Take care. All the best.
Hey, Carsten.
Oh,
hi.
Hey,
nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Would you like to record a podcast with me?
Yeah, sure. What's the topic?
It's cloud, your topic.
Yes, of course. Let's go.
Let's go.